come to you and just want to thank you for all you do for us, Lord. And thank you for everyone here, Lord. Serious business here, taking care of the Cherokee Nation's business. And we just ask you to go with us and be in our hearts and our minds and our tongues, Lord. And again, just thank you for all things, Father. And it says, two or more are gathered, there you are with us. So I take this prayer time seriously, Father, and appreciate you being with us. And in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Got roll call. Shelley?
Yes, sir. Joe Bird.
Honey?
Frankie Hargis. Bill England.
Here.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Harley Bezer.
Here.
Okay. Sean Crittenden.
Honey.
Don Garvin. Wanda Hatfield. Rex Jordan.
Here.
Dick Way.
Here.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
Janice Taylor. Here. David Thornton.
Honey.
Victoria Vesquez. David Walking-Stick. Brian Warner.
Honey.
We do have a quorum.
This time I would entertain approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. So drop down to reports. Marshal Service, Mr. Shannon Buell.
Good afternoon. Before I get into the reports, I would like to make a note that to show our respects to Master Sergeant Joshua Wheeler. He was a Delta Force operator that was killed in Iraq. He's from Roland, Oklahoma. He's a Cherokee citizen, and I'd like to put that out there that it was a severe loss to this nation that we would lose a patriot like that. Other than that, is there any questions that you have about my monthly report?
Have we contacted the family?
The Marshal Service has not yet. We got feelers out there to see if there's going to be service when it is, and then we're going to have a contingent of marshals to help with that service if they have that service here in Oklahoma.
Mr. Secretary, have we contacted the family in any way?
I don't believe so, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, that might be something that we can do, Counselor.
I have. I've been in contact with some people down at the First Star Bank, and they are setting up a memorial fund, and they're looking to. He graduated from Muldrow High School. Yeah. And they're putting up a memorial there, and any excessive funds they're allocating them to another organization of the family's choosing. It's been listed. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Okay.
I have talked with Kanan and some others, and we're looking into seeing exactly what they're wanting to do. So we have to kind of touch base a little bit.
Okay, that was the call then. I received a call from Superintendent Ronald Flanagan yesterday. Was that that he has spoke to you?
No, I have not spoke with him directly.
Okay.
No, I got information, and I called the bank to find out more information about exactly what, and maybe somebody has probably touched base with them.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll just coordinate our outreach there. It'll work, okay? Any questions for Marshal Buell? Yes, Councilor Buzzer.
I've got a question, and I'm not sure it should go to the marshal or not, but I'm going to put it out to see what he says and maybe see what the other committee members say. I'm wondering how we're set up here tonight in Shannon as far as the marshal service. I know we have a security service. Then now I find out we have another service that is security for our clinics. Who is this under? Who do they fall under? I didn't know that.
Okay, yes, the hospital has had their own security since I've been here, especially when it was under IHS. And what they did was when the tribe took over, those people that still want to be federal employees could stay. Those that want to be tribal employees switched over to the tribe. So yes, they've had their security department for as long as I've been here at the Marshal Service, so at least 15 years I know of. So they've kind of kept that going. There are some requirements for security at health centers that are different than the security that are here at the complex or the Marshal Service. So it's almost kind of like we actually have more than those. C&E has their own security department, and theirs is actually the largest security department that we have, or armed department. The health services security does not carry firearms. Our security here doesn't carry firearms. Our security here, you'll see them around. They're very well trained, they're well managed, and they carry tasers for their defensive tools. We're working constantly with Hastings Hospital right now. Once it goes into restricted status, it will then be the jurisdiction of us, the Marshal Service. So we've been in talks with health to maybe fund a position to actually have a live marshal there at Hastings Hospital. That's something we would like to see. But we directly supervise the security here at the complex. We hold the commission cards for C&E security. That would be the same as if you worked as a security officer in the state of Oklahoma, you would hold a Oklahoma cleat license. To be a security officer, armed security officer at the casinos, you have to hold a tribal license that we control. So we have that oversight over them. We don't have a direct supervisory role over the C&E staff. It's more of a administrative, supportive role. And that's going to be the same with the health center security, is that we won't have that direct supervision lineage, but we will have the oversight to hold their commissions to be able to work.
And the reason I didn't know that it changed, because I remember several years ago, our security here used to be over our clinics. I don't know when it changed and went under the operations at the Hastings Hospital. I didn't know that, and I had some questions and got to asking around, and that's how I found out about it. And I don't know that it's a bad deal to have 3 different agencies like that or not. It looked to me like it makes some sense if we had one central service that handled all the security. So just something I want to throw out there to think about, for you to think about, at work, you know, I'd like to see something like that happen.
Well, part of the reason why it hasn't is because of that federal
part of it.
federal part. Once that goes into restricted status, it'll really make it easier for us to look at those changes. So,
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any more comments? Yes, Councilor Haas.
I was up at Nowhat at the groundbreaking this week, and a constituent was asking about the security across the street at the clinic. He was specifically asking me, why do our clinic guards are they not armed? And I told him I'd get an answer. So you brought it up.
we are actually working on that at this very moment. There's a lot of things you have to do to arm an officer, especially on Indian country. Some of the clinics out there are not even Indian country. They are owned by the tribe. Let's take Salina Clinic, okay? It's owned by the tribe, but it is a state entity. So, you know, it's on state land. So since state has ownership of the land, you know, land is not in trust, that you have to fall under CLEAT's armed licensing, and it's pretty extensive, and it should be. So we're currently working with health right now to what do we do? What does that fix? Because there is that issue. You know, it's not as easy as a fix as it is for C&E, because they're armed on the casinos, but that's Indian country. We have a clause in the law for tribally that will allow that under my discretion. So, like I was speaking earlier, you know, we do a kind of a rudimentary background check on any armed officer that C&E has. They do a complete background before they hire them into an armed position. Then they send that packet to us. Once C&E's administration has given approval that yes, we want this person, then they send that packet to us. I send it over to my investigative staff. They do just kind of a brief, make sure that everything's correct, make sure, yes, this is the type of person we want carrying a gun on Indian country. And then we issue a license from the Cherokee Nation that allows that officer to carry a firearm. So we're currently in talks now with health on, is that the same process we want to do? Do we switch it to direct supervision that would be? Do they want security? Do they want security being armed? Or do they actually want marshals there with law enforcement authority? Those are totally separate issues. As most of the council knows, a marshal's expensive to keep. The training, the equipment, the recertifications is a lot more severe than a security officer. So we're looking at all those right now. I mean, that's one of the things. I can tell you the Marshal Service is very concerned with, one, do we even put firearms in our security hands? Because there's a lot of things that go along with that. And once that is decided, then the process on how do we make it happen and make it to where what we don't want is less than adequately trained people carrying firearms in our clinics, schools, casinos. So those are steps that we're actively looking at right now. And one of those things that brought her about was the fact that the tribe is getting Hastings. And if you go to St. Francis or St. John's and you look at those security officers there, they're armed. If you go to Tahlequah City Hospital, they're armed. So those are things that we're looking at as a health department, as the Marshal Service, and I'm sure administration is also looking at that as well. So it is very much on the forefront of our talks on what's the best mechanism to make it happen. So.
Are you good, Counselor?
Yeah.
Yes, Counselor Buzzer?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Just to follow up a little bit on that. I wouldn't want to see armed with a pistol in our clinics. And my question is there a difference between certification between using a taser and a firearm?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why if you notice C&E has firearms at the casino. The security officers here at the complex don't have firearms. They have tasers, different certification level, different training standard. So those are the questions we're having. Do we arm the clinic and hospitals with OC spray? There's problems with OC spray. If we get in the system, somebody's on, oxygen therapy, and now we go around spraying pepper spray in the building. That's not a good outcome. So we're looking at all those things. Do we put them in ASP? Do we put them in tasers? We're looking at all those levels, and I hope to have something shortly that I can come back to this body and go, this is kind of the recommendations that we are looking at, and maybe we can get that worked out. So.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Good report. Now we have Office of the Attorney General, Mr. Todd Hembry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. As always, it is a pleasure to report to the Rules Committee. The Office of Attorney General has been very busy in the last month. Things of note would be that in our United Kituah Band case, what we call the 76-acre case, which is pending in the Eastern District of Oklahoma, we have filed our brief in chief or brief on the merits. 2 days ago, the Department of Justice and the United Kituah Band filed their response briefs. All these briefs should be online in the Attorney General website. We've reviewed those briefs. We're going to we contemplate and will file a reply brief to those responses. A date has not been set for the hearing on the merits. I would predict that would be sometime in early spring. Again, as the companion case of the 2-acre case, what we call the gaming track case, which is pending in the Northern District of Oklahoma, which we tried sometime in May of 2015. We still have not yet received a decision on that case. We also, along with the Chickasaw, Choctaw, Seminole, and Creek tribes, along with the Intertribal Council signing on the brief, submitted an amicus curiae brief on behalf of Oklahoma tribes in the Mississippi Choctaw, Dollar General versus Mississippi Choctaw case. This is a case of utmost importance in Indian country. It deals extensively with the jurisdiction that tribes would have over non-members and corporations that avail themselves to Indian country and to our jurisdiction. It is a matter of utmost importance. And again, that brief is on our website and would be, I would encourage you to read it. It is one of the finest briefs that I've been fortunate to be involved in. States out a very clear path of why Indian tribes are sophisticated enough to handle their own affairs, how important it is to any individual or any corporation that comes in, again, to avail themselves of business and profits of Indian country. They should also avail themselves to the jurisdiction of our courts. That's only fair. And I believe that this brief really outlines that, and it's something that we're very proud of. We also issued an Attorney General's opinion as to the interpretation of the 2014 Gaming Amendment as to what is within the purview of the Gaming Commission to regulate as to non-gaming vendors. Again, that opinion has been circulated to all to the Tribal Council, and it is available on our website. We also are continuing to work on the implementation of the Hunting and Fishing Compact. That work goes along very well and is progressing finally. As to anything new, there's going to be issues, there's going to be questions, and those questions need to be clarified, and we address them as they come up. Other than that, that would conclude my report, and I would entertain any questions of the committee.
Any questions for Attorney General? Yes, Councilor Lay?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the 2014 gaming opinion,
Yes.
has there been a question recently that you have answered? I've heard there's been a question and
I just mentioned that. Yes, there was a there was an Attorney General's opinion issued, I want to say 2 weeks ago, about concerning the clarification of the 2014 gaming amendment that this body passed.
you say we were given copies of it?
I sent it to the Tribal Council Secretary for dissemination, or Secretary, or the body. It was disseminated from my office to the Tribal Council.
Can we do that again? Just
I will
have
do
you
that
send to
again.
all 17 of us?
I will do that again.
Heard of it, I haven't seen it,
Well,
that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, it was sent to the council. It is available on our website, and I would be happy to forward each and every one of you a copy of it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yes, Councilor Buzzer?
And you may have addressed this somewhat too, Todd, I may have missed it. I read someplace the other day that we're, before the court, that we're going to do away with any tribe having interest as far as another tribe or entity putting land into trust, that it should not even come before the tribe. Have you seen that? Can you talk about that some?
Thank you for bringing that up. I had it on my notes to address.
Okay.
It's called the Department of Interior Improvement Act. It is put forward by Representative Bishop. I forget which state he is from. It is a very interesting act that would keep in place the Department of Interior vetting process as to the whether a tribe would be federally recognized, but it would strip the Department of Interior from the ability to make that decision itself. That it would be a vote of Congress to that would actually recognize a tribe. We have reviewed that bill. It'd be my recommendation to be against that bill because I believe it would make an already political process even more political if you place it in a vote for Congress. These type of decisions should not be a popularity contest. It should not be of who could have the best lobbyist, who can influence enough votes in the House of Representatives. It should be a very careful and lengthy consideration. Now, recently, we know that the Department of the BIA has actually lessened the standards for federal recognition, and we oppose those. What was initially put forward was scaled back significantly. So our input in that matter did help us, but nonetheless they are lightened. We believe that, or it is our office's opinion that if the Bishop Act would even lessen it even further, would actually, it would be a popularity contest, and that's something I think would be not very beneficial, would not be beneficial to all Indian countries. That also brings up another point as to legislative matters, is that currently there is great movement on a bill that will be sponsored by Senator Barrasso concerning a carcieri fix. We've heard that term over and over again, and it's always been out there, but there's heavy movement on this. As you recall, what the Supreme Court in Carcieri said that the Bureau of Indian Affairs did not have the authority to take land into trust for any tribe that was not in existence as of 1934, which put into question many tracts of land that the Bureau had taken into effect or taken into trust for Indian tribes. Now, there have been many movements for what would be called a clean carcieri fix, which just basically would cure the Supreme Court case and give blessing to the lands that was taken in the trust. The Barrasso bill is very complicated, and we are engaged in suggesting language because of many tribes in the United States, carcieri directly affects us, and we want to ensure that the language that ultimately comes out of that bill is one that not only is beneficial to Indian country, but also serves the Cherokee Nation. So we are actively engaged in that process also.
Just to comment, and I think this other, that's above the course now, can have some broad effects all over, not only just.
The Dollar General case?
Yes.
Oh, it is of monumental importance. Monumental importance. The Supreme Court will hold arguments on that case in early December, and we can expect a decision in that matter February, early spring. But every case involving Indian country, involving the Supreme Court, is of importance, some more so than others. This one is extremely important. That's why we chose to engage in it, do an amicus brief. We reached out to the Choctaw Chickasaws. Our 3 tribes turned into all 5 tribes and the Intertribal Council. We speak clearly for all of Oklahoma Indian tribes in this matter, and again, we were very happy to be a part of it.
Todd, I want to commend you and your staff for doing that amicus brief there, that Dollar General and the Mississippi Choctaws. That is going to be, very testing for our tribes there. And then meeting with the senator there on the Barrasso bill there. You and your staff did an excellent job, I think. Being at NCAI, they were waiting for someone to take the lead, and our tribe was willing to write the briefs and get everybody organized. I want to, again, commend you and your staff for that. It appeared like just about the time we were gaining jurisdiction, like our eastern brothers and sisters in the domestic violence against women. We were up there a few months ago. They arrested their first person there on Indian land, and that was a landmark case there. And here now we're coming back with this Dollar General issue. So if you people are shopping at Dollar General, you might look elsewhere, because you're putting money in the coffers there for their attorneys. That's just coming from me. But Todd, I appreciate, all that you've done there with some of these cases. We've got a lot on our plates.
It's a very busy time of the year, yes it is.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Anybody else? Yes, Councilor Lane?
Thanks. The new tribes syndrome, fake tribes, I'm not sure what we're calling them. Do we have an official stance? I mean, I know what our stance would be, but is it out there in print or on the website?
As to federal recognition?
Yes.
Okay. I cannot speak to if there is a mission statement or anything in print, but I will tell you, especially with the lessening of the regulations that have recently come out, we have spent much more time and effort reviewing the applications, and that's part of the new one of the new regulations that they came out with was to make it more public and transparent and to allow for stakeholders, which would be effective tribes, to make comments, and also our stance is simply this: is that the creation of a federally recognized tribe creates a government-to-government relationship between those people and the United States government. That is something that is not to be taken lightly. That is something that needs extreme consideration and careful vetting. And it is and if you can prove it, if you can meet those requirements, good for you, and we have obviously no objections. But as you know, that the Cherokee Nation has a unique stature in that matter, and all you have to do is get on the website and see dozens and dozens of organizations and clubs that claim to be some type of Cherokee descendancy, and more so than any other tribe in the United States. So it is much more important for us as a tribe to be cognizant of those, and we have been. And actually, there are some legislative initiatives that maybe not before the end of the year, but early in the year, that my staff is working on, that we will present for the council's consideration to address that issue. And obviously we will work hand in glove with your attorney and Ms. Diane Barker Harold in developing that. But it is an issue. It's always been an issue, but it's something that is on much more of a forefront now because of the Bishop bill and because of the lessening of the BIA regulations that we're going to have to spend much more energy on, and we stand willing to do that.
And that's one thing. The legislation or a statement of that fact would have to be extremely technical and legal, and it's not just something that I think we should throw out there.
You're absolutely right,
as a
Councilor.
legislative effort without a lot of thought.
Right.
But I'd like to see it done as soon as possible.
We are working on it as we speak.
Anybody else? Councilor Walkenstick.
Hey, Todd, if there's an organization that's a 501c3, say it's a community building or a community group, is there some type of law that says that can we limit to just Cherokee people being on that board if it's a 501c3? Is there like a federal status that you got to open up to everybody, or?
Oh, I can form a corporation and I can limit the membership and the leadership to whoever I please.
Okay. So whoever is, say, Cherokee Nation, so we're the ones that set up the 501c3 status in these communities. Our bylaws are the ones that states if only Cherokees can sit on that board.
Well, it's not our bylaws.
Well, I think with the communities, we have a set of bylaws that the tribe uses, but we want the communities to set up their own bylaws, but stay in the same path as the Cherokee bylaws.
Right, we have examples
Yeah.
that we would give, and this is my understanding, again, this is not my department, but, there are ways that, and I understand the issue of community organizations, whether they are, make up of non-members, members, et cetera, and how to address it. Well, there's many ways to address it. One way is to, give them an example of bylaws that, that says, your leadership needs to be, Cherokee, or your membership needs to be Cherokee, or your membership needs to be Cherokee and maybe spouses of Cherokees, et cetera, or leave it the way it is. Or you can, say organizations, you can, which is, you can say this, but it's a fact. The organizations can do what they want. Anybody can go file a 501c3 and call them whatever. But if you want technical assistance in any other type of assistance of Cherokee Nation, we're going to require you to do this because at the of having certain percentages or total 100% of Cherokee membership or Cherokee leadership, that can be dictated from this body and from the administration, and it is an issue that be happy to look into in that regard.
I was meaning to talk to Rob Daugherty today. I didn't get the chance to talk to him, but I knew my only question was the 501c3, if I didn't want to discriminate, if saying it's got to be Cherokee only to sit on these 501c3s that are set up through the tribe. You know what I'm saying?
There are federal statutes that against racial discrimination, et cetera, and however, it's well settled that Cherokee is not a race-based definition. We are a political-based definition. So that's why we've been able to do many of the things that we have. It's not a racial issue. It's a political issue.
The other thing was I was trying to get a chaplain position over at Sequoia High School.
Okay.
And I know this is brought before your desk. And,
Yes.
There's talk about it may be a violation of church and state.
Could be.
And, being a tribe and our, being a sovereign tribe, I think we set the violations if it's a violation of the tribe in the school. Being it's not state funded, and I was when Chief Byrd was in office, he had some guys build a chapel, and I'm not sure if that is on tribal land or if that's on federal on BIE land. The chapel is on school campus.
I'm not aware of the status of the land.
Yeah, and so I was raising some arguments whatever it may be about that, and I just want to visit with you on that. But I'm not an attorney, and you're the one with the legal opinion, but I definitely don't want to become a tribe that doesn't pray or put God first. And as this council body, we pray before every meeting, and just the chaplain position of Sequoia is a desire, passion of mine. Put it in the budget, but we need the legal opinion rendered, and so that's the reason we're coming to you.
Well, and I appreciate those comments, and let me assure you, Counselor, that the Cherokee Nation will never be a tribe that does not put God first. That is a major part of our traditions and our history and who we are. We are a deeply spiritual people, a deeply religious people, and that will not and never will change. Now, as to any question as to your issue, please get with me. If you want an official opinion, we can do that. But I'd like to get a chance to talk to you individually on
Councilor Wongstick, what we might do first is get with Realty Department to determine what parcel of land that is, that, be it BIA land or is it tribal land? and then consider where's the source of the revenue to pay for this chaplain. Why don't we look at those two things, and then we'll get with our Attorney General. Is
Be
that
happy
okay?
to-
Sounds good. Thank you,
Okay,
Speaker.
okay,
Todd, appreciate you.
okay. Any more questions? Yes, Counselor Lay.
Can we limit him to 3 questions? Just a joke.
My friend Todd Hendrick, I love him. And other, and lawsuits. Have we had any, like, you used to come to us when we were getting ready to go offensive or to litigate something and kind of discuss at least the basics. Are you still doing that, or are you still willing to do that?
I'm still willing to do that. If I've been remiss on any communications, I apologize, and be happy to give you reports on anything we got going. The fact is, well, like, if I've been remiss in communication,
Well,
we'll
the
fix
one
it.
I was aware of was several months ago, I think one of those pharmaceutical things.
Pharmaceutical companies, yes,
The Scripts or something.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right, any more questions? Yeah, Counselor Busser?
I have a question. This is more a comment or to you. Congratulations on the election at NCAI. I
Thank you.
didn't get to make it out this year, but we were just talking about state recognized tribes, and the last NCAI meeting that I attended, there's some problems with this, and I'm sure you're aware of it, Mr. Speaker, that those state recognized tribes had the same vote as a recognized federal tribe at NCAI, and those state recognized tribes they're really local people, and if they can sway a vote, if they can get enough votes, they're going to take things their way. So, and we've mentioned this at NCAI before, but we've never got anything done about it. And I don't know how you change it other than get enough tribes to say they can't be part of that organization. But on the other hand, they say they want all natives involved with NCAI. But
Yeah.
still, those people are pretty vocal at those meetings out there. So it's just something that we're facing out at the national conferences even too. So I don't know if anything can be done about it or not, but if you would, Mr. Chair, you might kind of pass that around, see if we could ever get it passed at NCAI.
Okay.
So anyway, just thought I'd throw that out for thought.
Okay. In Oklahoma, we have fared very well in holding our own here with, 39 tribes and
Right.
still holding. So the other states is the ones that you really have to be careful of. And our eastern brothers and sisters are constantly fighting that battle out there. I mean, everybody that's had Indian taco east of Mississippi thinks they're Indian. And so we're constantly fighting that battles.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. I
Yes,
have
sir.
one more question, real brief thought. On our tag monies, the tax monies we get off the tags,
Yes.
this goes to education, roads, and
Law enforcement.
Yeah, law enforcement. Can those funds, let's say Don Garb, let's use this district for example.
What did you do, Don?
Muskogee. And I'm not referring to Don, but let's say
Thought you were.
Muskogee is divided with Creek and Cherokee. Okay, let's say he has a group in Creek jurisdiction that's wanting some funds for law enforcement. Is it up to the discretion of the tribe to put that money into Creek country and give them money, or do you keep that money inside the 14 counties?
I can't give you an answer to that question off, from shooting from the hip.
How about Miss Sharon Swepston, when she gives her tax report, could answer that one, Counselor?
Well, I figure that'd be illegal.
Well, Sharon
Well,
is pretty legal.
I'm telling you, I can't give you that answer from shooting at the hip. I know there are for instance, on schools, we have had that buffer zone, that increased, 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles.
What about in roads, do you come into a self-governance issue?
You could, again, submit me that, that type of question, submit it to me, and we will get you a written answer.
Okay. Sounds good.
Good?
Thanks, yeah.
All right. Good report.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Gwen Terrapin.
Good afternoon. So far, we've got 39 requests, which is really down from what we've had in past years. And I've updated the 2015, and the 2002 to 2015 is now categorized, and everything is on the website, and everything's been updated there. And I have 2 that are outstanding at this time. But otherwise, that's it.
You're making progress.
Yes, we are.
Yes, Counselor
What is that
Taylor?
web address, if we wanted to look at?
It's on the Attorney General's website. On the left-hand side, down at the bottom, is the FOIA GRA link.
Okay, Counselor Buzzer?
Could we ask Gwen to email that to the tribal council member, just those cases?
Sure.
I'd like to see that, because you go to the website and you've got a big search, and if you will send us those cases or the requests, and we want to see something that we can get on the site there like that.
Okay. Are you wanting all of them, or are you wanting just certain
Like the
ones?
39 that you did this month.
Oh, okay.
Can you just send us a short overview or one?
Sure,
line
I can
summary?
actually send you the spreadsheet
Okay.
that will show
That
you
would help,
exactly
yeah.
what's going on.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, good report.
Thank you.
Election Commission, Ms. Keely Duncan.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
We've been very busy in our office cleaning up the database, going out into the communities, registering voters, doing voter education. I have some of those things on our report. Is there any questions that I can answer about any of that?
It's a work in progress. Counselor Walkenstead.
So you guys are cleaning up it, because like my election had a bunch of people that lived in my jurisdiction, but they couldn't vote because they was registered in like District 2. Have you guys had an opportunity to clean that up, or is it just by request?
We're going through every district, and what we do is we take, it's kind of a report that we print. All voters who are unassigned to a specific district, that's people who are registered at rural routes. Some people that have been registered for years and years are registered at P.O. boxes. We're trying to contact those people, get new addresses. It may just be that some of the addresses that were in the system are typed incorrectly or misspelled or whatever it may be. We're taking those addresses and trying to put them where they should go. So that's how we're cleaning that up. Other than that, it's just a voter-initiated change that has to be done through a voter registration and a signature.
Gotcha. So it's by request and
Yeah.
pretty much. Thanks, Speaker.
Good. Counselor Crittenham?
Ma'am, would you be opposed? I'm like Councilor Watkins, if there was a bunch of that in Adair County. If we could set up like not necessarily a community meeting, but the Election Commission came to my community meeting, done a real good job, and I think they got a few of those changes made there. But some night, if we set one up, maybe put it in the paper, and Election Commission, I could kind of explain what needs to take place, because there were several, different things. Nobody's fault, of course. I mean, addresses change, people die, but you guys could come to one of those, wouldn't you?
Yes, we'd be very happy to do that. We've been trying to set up things on our own, just to try to reach out to different groups that maybe we haven't got to reach out to. But we'd be happy to do anything like that. Adair County doesn't have physical or 911 addresses at this time, so that's kind of where we fall with that.
That's the ones who need to actually come there and say, hey, I live here.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, well, thank you. I'll be setting that up.
All right.
Good. Okay, any more questions? Yes, Counselor Garvin.
Yes, thank you. I have a constituent that is at large, but in '07 they chose to stay in District 4.
Mhm.
And she's been voting down at Warner, but she wanted to change to Muskogee since it's just about 2 blocks away. Save all this driving back and forth. I told her all she needed to do is change the precinct from Warner to Muskogee. Did I tell her right?
I would have to get with our attorney to see exactly how that would work. As far as I know, they have to keep what they chose in 2007.
They have to
So
keep
I
the-
don't know if they can, even though it's the same district, I'm not sure if they can change their precinct since they chose it back then.
I think it said just keep the same district, not Precinct shouldn't matter at all.
Okay. I'll get back with you for sure. It doesn't seem like there should be a problem, but in case there is, I'll double check and get back with you.
Thank you.
Would you get Counselor Garvin and get that?
Yes.
That name? Okay. Anybody else? Yes, Counselor Lay?
I can't blame Frankie and Sean and Adair County on everything. 911 addresses are not in Nowata County either. We probably need, there's, I think, 2 counties that need some extra work maybe.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, good report.
Thank you.
Now, our Tax Commission, Sharon Swepson.
Afternoon.
Afternoon.
I believe you all have my report. Do you have any questions?
Keep them short, Counselor Walking Stick.
I just got the same question I asked Todd. Are you able to entertain that question?
I would defer that to the treasurer because those are actually go to general fund, and actually those are at this body's discretion to budget where those need to be. Yes, they are for law enforcement, but I would defer that to our treasurer Horn and let her address that since that is part of the budgeting process.
Next committee meeting.
Sounds like you answered it. Thank you.
Okay. All right, anybody? Yeah, Counselor Taylor?
I have a question. On your report, you talk about the expanded jurisdiction and list by month the new tags issued.
Yes.
Are those unique first time as in not renewals?
Right.
Okay, that's what I was hoping. Thank you.
Good.
all I have.
Counselor Jordan?
Comment, thank you.
Yes.
You went to get tagged Tuesday?
Okay.
It's pretty neat.
Did you use the town
Yes, I did.
office?
The only problem is, you need to, where it says submit is hid till you actually roll it up.
On the little
Yes.
iPad? Okay, I didn't know
Yes.
that.
The rest of them went really smooth.
Well, good.
Should be proud of that.
It seems, everybody seems to be, and if anyone has any issue or it looks like they're having an issue, then I usually have an agent, they'll kind of watch and they'll step out and go out there and try to help them in a system to get that done. But most people haven't had any problems with that new
That's the only
sign-in
problem I had. I didn't know what
system.
to do after I got my name in there.
I'll bring that up to IS, you need to scrunch it a little
There you
more and get
go.
it all on one screen.
Rex can operate it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's beginning to work. Counselor Buzzer?
I'm just curious, Sharon, on our cigarette tax,
Yes.
it's had over a 50% reduction.
Yes, sir.
Have we done any studies to see why? And I'm glad it's down, and don't get me wrong about that.
Okay.
Glad it's down, but why is it? Is it people not smoking as much?
Yes, sir. That is the main thing, is that sales are down. Sales are down quite a bit. And of course, there is always a push out there to get people to quit smoking.
Yeah, I know.
And so I think that is due to part of it, the sales being down. And of course, a lot of our shops are just out in rural areas, and it's getting a lot harder for them to get people to drive out there to purchase those. But the main reason is that sales are just down everywhere on the
I know we
tobacco.
had a good campaign on smoking cessation, so maybe it's working. Okay, thanks, Tom.
Okay, anybody else? Yes, yes, Mr. Jody Reese?
I wanted to, in regards to Mr. Walkenstick's question,
He has the answers.
RX says an amount not to exceed 20%, but not less than 5% of the amount of such fees and taxes remaining after the amounts appropriated pursuant to blah, 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 but says shall be available to and allocated among counties and municipalities within the nation's reservation boundaries.
There
Thank
you go.
you.
There's your answer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jody.
That cover it? All right, you got your answer. I knew one of them could answer it. Okay. Good report, Sharon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, self-governance, Vicki Henvey, she here? Yeah, there she is.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I believe you have my report. There's a couple of things that, if you'll indulge me for a few minutes, I know when we talk about contract support costs, it's a very technical subject, and a lot of times people's eyes glaze over, and you know, until you start talking about real money, people don't get real interested in those very technical issues. But as we were going through some of the case information and some of the old documents, and this will kind of tell how old I am or how long I've been around, but Speaker was chief at the time when we started some of this work, and I had to work with information systems to get some records off of Lotus. And some people won't even know what that is. And some of the records were done on a typewriter. And so to me, it was kind of interesting when I was talking to some of the staff, and I was like, well, that's how long I've been around. But some of them were like, Lotus? What was Lotus? So, but anyway, one of the things that I wanted to mention, and if you'll indulge me for just a few minutes, looking back over time, it was in the early 90s. Cherokee Nation has been a leader within self-governance and tribal sovereignty for many years. We were one of the first tribes to enter into a self-governance compact. And in those early days when it was actually Charles Head, Rick Kelly in health, and Melanie Knight and myself and some other folks that were around during that time, and we met at the time with Chief Byrd and discussed some of the issues. And again, those can be very technical, but we visited with him about what action do we want to take? Where do we want to go with this? And we actually filed a contract support cost claim that, Joe, you signed off on. And we were a leader within those claims. And now it's taken many years for some of that to come to fruition. But these settlements that are coming about now really were from those early discussions that we had, and Cherokee Nation took the lead in that. And now Indian country as a whole is seeing the fruition of some of the work that was done in those early days. And I was reminded of that when I was going back through some of those old documents. And so, Joe, thank you for signing off on that and taking the lead. Since then, of course, we've gone to the Supreme Court on two cases that were brought forward and combined to the Supreme Court. We won that. Indian country has won anytime we've taken these issues to court. And over the course of history, we have had over $40 million on IHS. Right now, it's estimated a little over $8 million that we could get on the DOI side. So I wanted to mention that just to, and thank you for indulging me to go back in history a little bit. But thank you, Joe, for taking the initiative to do that. Because
Also,
Indian
we had
country,
Mark Downing.
That's right.
And Jim Danielson. Those
That's
two
right.
were pioneers of self-governance. Yeah.
And it's because of the work that we did in those early days that Indian country finally is seeing some of the fruition of some of that work. Other than that, you have my report. I would also like to thank the health department who assisted us in, we hosted a tribe from, and I never can say this correctly, so I apologize ahead of time, Tohono O'odham Nation. I had to apologize for mispronouncing their name several times, but anyway, we hosted them. They came to look at our health system, and we provided technical assistance to them as they are looking to enter into self-governance. Something interesting about what they are doing is they are taking everything at once, even the area office. So they've only got, I think, about 3% of another tribe in that. So they've got the whole area office. So they are looking at compacting all of their functions plus the area office, which is a pretty huge undertaking. But anyway, I'd like to thank the health department for hosting them and showing them around, letting them see some of the operations that we have here at Cherokee Nation.
Good report. I think Councilor Walksstick wants to learn how to say that word, Tahona Odom. Is that right?
I have no idea what you said.
Well, okay, we'll take care of that later. Good report, Vicki. Next, we have Gaming Commission, Mr. Jamie Hummingbird.
Good afternoon, Council.
Afternoon, Jamie.
Hope everybody's enjoying this day.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful. I just had the privilege of going to the Survivors Luncheon earlier this morning. Chief and Deputy were there. I was honored to be the guest of my wife, who is a 12-year survivor, as well as her mom, who is a 26-year survivor. And there was a whole host of ladies down there that were just giving you things to put in perspective for your day. And it's you go outside and you see the beautiful weather, you see a lot of things, and it's a good day.
Congratulations.
Today's a good day. I believe my report actually made it into the book this week. In addition to that, there are just a couple of things I would like to bring to the committee. First, I do want to extend my congratulations to you, Speaker Byrd, on your election to the NCAI Regional Vice President.
Thank you, Jamie.
Congratulations on that. And it is also an honor of mine to recognize one of my staff. I have Miss Kelly Myers here, and if I can ask Kelly to stand. Kelly is my licensing manager, and she just was recently reelected for her second term as chairwoman of the Oklahoma Tribal Gaming Regulators Association. She is one of my many right hands. I have a lot of right hands. Hopefully I don't have a left hand out there doing something I don't know what's going on, but she is definitely one of my star performers. It's an honor to have her on my team, and I'm just I'm watching because I'm sure she's coming up behind me real fast on taking over the National Tribal Gaming Commissioner. So we might have an interdepartmental battle on who's going to run the national organization one of these days.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing.
Attorney General Hembry mentioned the Barrasso case, or the Barrasso bill that's going to be putting forth a Carcieri fix. That is something that we are watching closely because it does have the ability to impact Indian country on a massive scale for many other reasons besides gaming, but gaming chief among those for me. So we will continue to watch that, and we will bring back any developments to you. Likewise, we are reviewing the recent opinion that the Attorney General released regarding the licensing of non-gaming employees and non-gaming vendors to determine the full extent to which the opinion will impact our regulations and our operations. The opinion came out just 2 days before our commission meeting, in which we did discuss the opinion and what we are going to be able to do or what we're going to be required to do as a result of that. At this time, it's still a work in progress. A formal position and informal actions or revisions to any regulations or anything like that have not necessarily been taken action upon, but we will be looking to see what impact the opinion does have on us, and we will be responding accordingly. So, with that, I'll take any questions.
Councilor Walkenstick.
Is that a national or tribal level?
This is Attorney General Hembry,
Okay,
so it's the
tribal.
Cherokee Nation Attorney
Okay,
General.
That was gonna be my comment to you. I visited with some vendors that do business with our casinos, and they have to increase their bids because their gaming licenses fees, I guess, have they went up in the last year or 2 years, the gaming licenses that they have to get to go on tribal land to do work?
No, our fees have not changed within
Okay,
the
so you're
last
saying-
3 to 4 years.
Okay, that was one of the complaints they were saying, and a lot of them aren't bidding on the jaws because the gaming licenses, the gaming fees, and I know that goes into your budget.
Mhm.
But I just, my opinion is, I don't think we should be charging a vendor that's not around gaming to come in and do some work on the property just for a couple days, you know, because, and that's something that the Attorney General is going to render opinion on.
That was a part of the opinion, so
Okay.
that we are looking at, since we're looking at non-gaming vendors and non-gaming employees, one of the questions that comes as a result of that, obviously, is, okay, who is going to be considered a gaming employee? Who's going to be considered a gaming vendor? So we will have to dive into those and dissect that meaning and figure out exactly who should fall on which side of the coin in terms of being licensed or not having to be licensed.
Are these, some of the employees, are they going to fall under this as well that aren't in the gaming, say they're out cutting grass all day? You know, does this opinion include those employees as well?
There are some non-gaming employees, what we call operational level employees, that are impacted by this. Right now, and as you can see in our report, we break it down between what we call key employees, PMO, which is primary management officials, as well as operational. The operational are the non-gaming employees, and right now there's just, I think, 1,247 that could be impacted by this. As we got into
How many employees can be impacted by this?
right now, it's upwards of 1,200, a little over 1,200.
Okay.
And what we're looking at now is having to look at every single job description that is utilized for these operational or these non-gaming positions to determine whether or not they have any association with the gaming facility or the gaming activities. If there are, then those are the ones that we will be saying, this one will require a license, and if there is no relationship there, then they will probably fall outside.
Who's
of the
making that
license.
determination?
Well, we will be looking at that,
The-
but we
the
will
gaming
also be
commission's
using,
making the
yeah, we will be reviewing that, but we will also be getting guidance from the AG's office to help us along the way.
Maybe we'll get guidance from CMB as well, because they're the ones that's got the biggest issue with it, because coming out of their pocket to pay for the gaming licenses.
Well, actually, the employees pay for the license.
Employees pay for the
Yeah,
license.
the employees pay for the first license, and CMB pays for the renewals. So the initial license for all employees, gaming or non-gaming, comes out of the employee's pocket.
Is CMB's are they going to be involved with this process, CMB?
They will as part of the APA process. So as we go through and look at what the changes will need to be, those changes will come about in the form of a regulation revision, which will be published for comment, which they will have the ability to comment just as any other citizen would.
Okay. And all this falls under the mix?
This, the way this whole non-gaming employee issue came about was we received guidance from the NIGC back in 2001 that said that the Gaming Commission was required to license all employees of a gaming facility, but we were only required to conduct their level of background investigation on key employees and primary management officials. So we received that guidance via letter from the NIGC, I think in April of 2001. So we started doing just what they stated in their letter. The NIGC changed their regulation in 2013 and removed that language that said license all employees of an operation to license all key and PMO employees. Since that that process had been in place for a dozen years for us, and plus it's a common practice out in Indian country, not just in Oklahoma, but across the rest of the United States. I don't think there's but maybe one tribe here in Oklahoma that doesn't license non-gaming employees, and the only reason that is because the size of their facilities, they don't have any non-gaming operations that would, warrant that designation. But whenever that regulation changed, and the process had been in place for a dozen years, and it's also an industry practice, the commission kept that licensing process in place. Now, with the new ordinance, and as the opinion is brought forward, that is not something that was intended as a part of the new ordinance. So what we are going to be doing now is adjusting to that.
Okay, so that's not gonna be in the attorney's opinion, that's gonna be just you being courtesy to CMB?
Well, the entire revision process is something that we will be getting guidance on. And then once the determination from the commission perspective of what needs to be changed on our regs, on the regulations, will be put out there for comment, and CMB will have the ability to participate at that time.
Is that after that you guys made a determination of what employees you're gonna, I guess, determine which ones are gaming and non-gaming?
Yeah, it will
Well, see,
be.
here's, I think CMB needs to be involved with the process beforehand and decide, because you're gonna create a division of CMB and the Gaming Commission, and we're trying to all work together. And we talked to you about this before, and I think you need to be very diligent on bringing CMB to the board and letting them be in the determination process of what's gaming and what's non-gaming. And I know you guys are your own commission, and you guys can do whatever the heck you want, but I think you need to be very careful on this.
Well, and the comments and the input that we get from CMB is taken very seriously. You know, in all the past issues where we've had APA postings and we've gotten comments from them, I would say roughly 70 to 80% of their comments are accepted. And as a result of that, we change what is being put in the draft. But looking at it from just the rulemaking process standpoint, and it's not to say that we won't involve them. I'm just saying that the commission will make whatever decision it is after getting all the input that they feel is necessary. So once the commission makes that determination, whether it is 100% agreeable to by CMB or if it's not 100% agreeable to, then they will have the ability to comment.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that we're not going to get input from anybody, we're going to make decisions in a vacuum or in a silo. It's just that whenever that decision is made by the regulatory body, then that information being put out there is available for comment.
Okay. All right, thanks, James. Thank you,
Good.
Speaker.
Yes. Councilor England?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jamie, will any of these changes have any effect on our state compact, eliminating licensing for non-gaming?
I don't know for 100% certainty on that. I have not had any contact or any input from the state on any concerns that they may have regarding our change in direction. So at this point, I don't have a good answer for you.
But that'd be something you'd probably check.
Yeah, and that's something that we will have to.
Violate our compact?
Exactly. We don't want to do anything that we're not supposed to be doing.
Right. Okay, that's the only question I had.
Okay. Councilor Lay?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jamie, so this opinion, I think, is the one I asked about to AG a little earlier.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that correct? Or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you got a copy of it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Secretary, did y'all get a copy of it at the other end of the hall?
The Attorney General's opinion, yes.
And Gail just told me we never got that information sent over. I'd like to have that before we leave here today. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Well, Mr. Lay,
Apparently somebody does, but I don't.
We will send you a copy of the email that we forwarded to the
Can you
tribal
just
council office.
hand one out now while we're sitting there?
We can, my office has, as this meeting is taking place, has
Why was the
if you let me
legislative
answer the
body-
question, we sent over a copy of this opinion on October 13th. We'll send you a copy of the email that we did to this office, to be disseminated with instructions to disseminate to all tribal council members. As we've had this meeting, another copy has been sent over to this office because I have staff reviewing this. You will have a copy of it before you leave here
I
today.
would like to have had a copy before we came to this meeting where we are discussing.
And it was sent over to this tribal council office on October 13th.
Everybody's got one but the council.
The council
Is
got a
the
copy of
public-
it.
No, it may be in the Tulsa world, I don't know.
The council got a copy of it, sir. It did.
I did not get a copy of it.
I did not personally hand you a
Those
copy.
of you on this council who received a copy, raise your hand.
I have a copy, but it wasn't through the council.
All I can tell you is that it was sent to this office, to the tribal council, On October 13th.
This is one of the things I'm gonna miss when I go out,
Yes.
debating with you.
Yeah, I miss it already.
Counselor Lake, Shelley just went to get a copy. Make sure you get one.
You will have a copy. I will
Yeah,
personally
I
put a
don't think
copy of
it
your
was-
hand, in your
Attorney
hand.
General, in all due respect, I don't think it was your office that dropped the ball. It was probably our office that dropped the ball.
We have an email chain.
Thank you.
So we'll have a meeting after this and see who dropped the ball from our end. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, Counselor Lay.
And Jamie, we passed a new revision of the Gaming Commission Act, what, last 2014?
Yes, sir.
Early 2015, something like that.
Yes, sir.
And so this opinion then, as I understand it, is going to be a part of that new act, it sounds like, because it comes from the AG's office, without going through the council for debate. Would that
It
be a
is.
fair statement?
It is my understanding that the opinion was based on the content of the 2014 amendment, and under the tribal laws, the AG opinion has the force of law until either he changes it or the court's overturning.
And okay, I think it's a fair statement from me that we passed a revision of the act, and now we have an opinion asked for from somebody in CMB, the AG who has the force of law.
Mhm.
I keep hearing that term quite often from the AG, has now added to that act, and it's in its entirety, it's attached to that act.
It is something that we use as we implement the provisions of the act,
And that
yes.
did not go through council.
No, sir.
Thank you.
Yes,
If I may
AG.
clarify, Mr. Chairman, the Attorney General's opinion did not add to any legislation that was passed through this body. What this opinion did was to answer a question as to the interpretation as to the effect of the legislation. Did not add to, did not detract from. That is not within the purview of the Attorney General's office. Just wanted to make that point clear.
And it came through this body for discussion when we did legislative outcome, because we voted on it.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The act did, yes, sir.
Yes. Well, that's what, I think that's what they were referring to. It came through this body. You guys had a chance to look at it and vote on it and discuss and cuss and all of that.
Point of order.
Yeah.
The legal opinion from the AG, as far as I know, did not come through this body.
It doesn't have to come through this body.
That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah. I don't think Attorney General has to come through this body for his,
I understand
Yeah.
that, but when we pass an act,
Mhm.
when we totally overhaul an act, which we did, and then somebody asks for a clarification opinion, or I'm not sure what we're calling it, it appears to me, and it's just a layman's viewpoint, in my opinion, my personal opinion, that it skirted the work that we have done. I think that it should have come back to this body. That's just my opinion.
okay? Anybody else? Okay, good report, Jamie.
Thank you very much.
Yes. We have with us Mr. Nason Morton from Human Resources.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
In the report, I added an attachment. It's the employee benefits. It's a summary. It's a one-page attachment that covers some of the benefits that we provide to the employees. And this is also handed out to new employees. And if you have any questions, we have benefits is divided up by the employee's last name. And so if you have any questions, the employee just contacts their assistant over in HR benefits, and we assist with any questions they have. Last week, Human Resources, the benefits portion, hosted a health fair over behind the old hotel, and it was well attended. We had attendance was even higher than last year's. Had a lot of good people there to give information. Also, in the last few weeks, we've been wrapping up the performance evaluation process for fiscal year 2015, And other than that, it's pretty much been business as usual. Does anyone have any questions?
Counselor Walkenstick.
2 questions. The performance evaluation, is that so the biggest complaint I hear on the performance evaluation is that everyone gets the bonus at the end of the year, including those that miss a lot of work and they're not satisfactory employees, but they still get the performance. How are you guys holding? Is there any kind of compliance? Is there a set number of days? Is there a way to identify someone that is performing satisfactory to be able to obtain this bonus, this extra money that the employees get?
The portion with the
Or is this based off the director's opinion on it?
on the performance evaluation by itself, it is a determination to see basically how the employees do it. It's a combination of from the time the employee starts with first day of orientation through when they're at their 90 days, you have an evaluation to say, this is what I expect of you during this time, and it lets the employee know what they're supposed to be doing, and it also lets the employee know our expectations of them. So the 90-day evaluation,
Does this have
it starts
anything
the
to do
process.
with the 3% that the employees get, or is this something just to say you're tenured and you have another year on your contract? This is just for tenure, your performance?
It's an indicator to
evaluation?
see if you need any training, if you
Okay.
need anything else, if you
Now,
need to go on a disciplinary track to.
Okay, so I'm talking out of line here. Let's get back to the 3% that the employees get, the incentive they get. There's some employees that they don't show up to work, but they get the same amount versus someone that's there every day. Okay?
Yes, I believe
Is-
that.
Is there something, do we have something set in stone where you gotta be in attendance of so many percentage of work days to identify an employee that is eligible for this 3% raise or whatever? Or, because it's not fair across the board, it's never gonna be fair, but let's get it close to fair as possible.
Let me put together the documentation of how it works, and that way I can kind of
It's hard to
walk
give an
through the
opinion
process.
on a hypothetical, Counselor. I don't know if you got a specific isolated case or not.
It's across the board. There's employees that miss a lot of work that get the same.
But we can't get into employees here.
Well, I'm not saying any specific, I'm just saying across the board. I just like to get something pinned down where there's no black and white versus someone's opinion. Well, I think this person deserves it and this person does it. It needs to be something set in stone.
I can
think
get,
that may come from your office.
it's
You
kind
might
of a
get with,
process.
you might get with Mr. Morton, give him some of these cases that you're concerned about.
Well, there are no cases. It's across, I mean, I heard from a lot of different people.
But we can't go on hearsay, though. I mean, if you're going to get a specific policy, you have to be more specific. But you and Mr. Morton can talk about that after this.
The next
Yes, sir.
thing is Sequoia High School had an opening for a college and career coordinator back in June, and they just got them hired last week. But saying that, there's a lot of financial aid, there's a lot of scholarships that were missed out on in the fall first semester because of the delay of hiring. My biggest complaint with education in Sequoia is that we need to get our own HR up there, because we've had substitute teachers that we're supposed to bring on in the spring, and you guys didn't get everything finalized till the summer. School's already out. I don't know what the fix is, because you're in the middle of all this, but if there's a way to expedite health or education, I think we need to go that route. Now, health, they're pleased with HR. Connie Davis has bragged about what you guys done for health. I would like the same response for education. That's just one of those immediate needs.
I can take a look at all the jobs at Sequoia and get with the superintendent.
Yeah,
And we-
whatever you guys can work out, if it can be the same process as the health does, and that would be great. I think that would accommodate them well.
Because I'm thinking the background part and the procedure we have to do is probably the same process as far as level of background check we have to do. And the overall goal is to make sure every department fills every position as quickly as possible. And I'll check with Sequoia and make sure that we're doing it as quickly as possible.
Okay, I'll follow up Mr. Leroy and yourself, Mr. Morton. Thank you, Chair.
Maybe Mr. Etheridge as well.
Mr.
Yeah. Counselor Taylor?
Yes, I just wanted to comment on your number of employees hired in September was 62 out of 448 for the year. That's a disproportionate amount that you actually got in jobs, got them going, looking over the year. So I think you've probably got a good plan in motion for getting people into jobs quickly, and I just wanted to commend you for that.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Yes, Counselor Buzzer.
I want to follow up on what Councilor Walking Stick has talked about on the merit raise, or on the bonus. If I have a corporation, everybody in my corporation doesn't get the same amount of bonus. Is that what you're saying? We give the same amount to everybody here in the nation?
We give it 3%
For everybody?
for everybody, regardless of their performance.
You don't do it like that. I know it's been going on for years and years, but to me, that's unfair to somebody that's here every day and takes what vacation they have versus somebody that takes 50 days of sick leave a year. So I don't think it's fair to all the employees. It's not a fair evaluation as far as giving bonuses.
And on the process, it's not a blanket statement that everyone gets the 3%. What I'm going to do is go ahead and get the information together, and we're kind of set early next month, right? We're like the
16th.
second week?
16th.
Okay. I'm going to try to get it all together, and I'll come back for that meeting. If not, we'll take care of it in December, if that's okay.
Yeah.
But I'll get the information to you quickly.
So you're saying everyone doesn't get 3% then?
They do not.
Okay, I didn't know that. I do have another question on this chart here. Councilor Taylor talked about 62 out of 488. Now on the next line, it says monthly be charged 77 Cherokees. And then over here, it says 79. What am I not seeing there?
Can I come?
Percentage.
I think that's percentage.
Oh,
I want to
okay.
make sure.
Yeah, one is a
Sorry, I did not bring
percentage.
my own report with me.
On this one, that's the percentage of Cherokees hired during that time. So
Oh,
we
okay,
set
okay. Well, I say, well, how do you do that? You heard 77 and you heard 79. All right, I'm with you now. Okay, thank you, that clears it
You're
up.
good. Okay. Anybody? Yeah, Counselor Thornton.
Yes, Mr. Morton, the 3% across the board, that doesn't mean that everyone gets 3% of the pot of goals in there. That means that if you're a supervisor, you get 3%. You get additional funding because you're making more money. So if you're making more money, you get a bigger bonus or raise or whatever. Is that right? In
It would be
other words-
3% on what your salary is. Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to get that straight, because you get 3% of what your salary is. So that don't mean labor gets the same amount as a supervisor,
That's correct.
correct? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Good report.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll drop down to old business. Counselor Thornton.
Thank you.
Counselor Thornton, we've had this agenda item on the books for quite some time. Just to refresh our memory, could you give us a brief narrative on why this was even brought up in the first place?
I printed out a piece of paper here that says loophole. And the reason I brought this up is because of situations that's happened in the past. And the first, number one, is candidate. And we really don't have clarification on when you become a candidate, is the way I look at it. You know, do you become a candidate when you announce? Do you become a candidate in the public? if you have a political meeting, raise and spend funding, money, put out campaign signs, mailers, you have campaign calls, and then you turn around and when it comes time to file, you don't file for office. I'd like to go over a little bit of the accountability and transparency of this. Someone using Cherokee law to raise and spend money, then using loopholes in that law by deciding not to file for office. Obeying the donation limit, you don't file for office, because that money spent on campaign expenses, in kind, or except what was expended. Are donations entitled to their, donors entitled to their money back? This is what's come out and people have talked to me about, and the committee. So can donors sue for their money back? I had that question. Would campaign donations taken by a candidate who decides not to run for office be subject to any kind of a tax? That's another thing. But this all evolves around is how can we keep a candidate from raising and spending money and escape accountability and transparency by not filing for office? And that's what this is about.
Okay.
And I would also like to say that I sent out also a notes of what was taken in our committee meetings. And I'd like to say that our law person over here, Ms. Diane, has done an excellent job of furnishing us information. But with that all said, what I primarily want to do is to make a motion to bring this loophole situation to a special rules meeting, date set by this council, and to be talked about. So if you want to, you can vote for it. If you don't, we'll vote against it. That's the way I do it. So I'd like to make the motion at this time to bring this to a special rules meeting.
You got a motion on the floor? Got a second? Discussion? Councilor Walkenstein.
Is there any way that Diane could draw up legislation that's within the election code that addresses what Counselor is talking about, and then we could just come to a regular rules meeting, have discussion on it, and vote on it.
Councilor Thornton?
Mr. Walkenstick, I think a regular meeting is going to last a long time.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to, we got 17 different opinions here. And our committee just, they could go on for hours. So I think that we need a special rules committee to bring this to a head. And I know Diane is perfectly capable of taking care of this, but she's going to need some help. And by the ideas that come out of you and these other council people, I'm sure that we've already made a motion and it's been seconded for a special meeting. So,
well, it's self-explanatory. I'm either or. I just, I agree with everything, the language you're trying to put into the election code. I think it's gonna make it stronger.
yeah, and there's other situations going to come up when we have a meeting. So there already has.
Okay. Any more discussion? Yes, Councilor Buzzer.
Well, I think Councilor Walkenstick has a pretty good point. If our attorney can give us some of these points and bring them to that meeting, we'd have some stuff already worked out. She could go to the election code and find out a lot of these bullet points and give us some answers or some or some input on the thing, I think it would save us some time in a meeting. I'm for having a meeting, but I just think that would be helpful if she could go through the election code and actually look at some of these bullet points and give us some type of an opinion on the thing.
Okay. Anybody else? Diane, you have a comment on that?
I can, we had a loophole meeting today, and Councilor Thornton asked me to start working on legislation specific to this list that he's given to all of you.
I would like to make a request. Diane, is there any way, can you have something drawn up before our meeting? And then if we need to guide you in other directions, then we can have another meeting later. Because I'm just wanting, you know, it's time. I think it's clear where we're trying to get to. And if we have other amendments to it, we can make them and turn it to an official election code. So, was that what you guys plan on doing? Was you guys plan on having something already drawn up and then have the meeting?
Basically, it is these issues that you have. The Election Commission has had other recommendations for changes, and I've been working with their attorney and the Election Commission and the committees, and have, I think you have a list that's been handed out to you of recommendations from the Election Commission. And so once we get this done, then we can work on the election code amendments related to all these, because it's like a 37-page piece of legislation, and so it takes a while to make all the amendments. We'll do this one first, and then we'll do.
So you want to have a brainstorming session where everyone comes to ideas. Then you're going to draw up a draft of the election code. Is that correct?
Yes. I will do the first draft with the list that Councilor Thornton's handed out to you. And anyone that has any ideas, you can email me, let me know. And just give me a little time to do it before we have a special rules meeting.
Councilor Thornton.
The reason that I was wanting to keep this separate is because the Election Commission laws are 37 pages or something of that nature. The Terrell laws were 30-something pages. And so and it probably took 2 years or more to go through the Terrell laws and to go through the election laws, which I think we're going to end up having to go through all of them if we do that. It needs to be kept separate. That's just the way I look at it.
And we need to have the election code amendments done probably by March of next year to be ahead of time before election activities start at the end of next year. Because things start, and there may be some dates changed, and if so, there may be certain items that will occur sooner, and so we'll need to get all this done in the spring to have plenty of time so anybody's running for re-election or election will
Speaker,
understand.
is there a subcommittee?
I was going to ask the Election Commission staff, is this something that we have been addressing or have looked at?
Yes, we have a committee within our commission that has looked at some of these revisions that we're, thinking of, and we've been getting with our attorney who's got with Diane, and as far as I know, everybody is still working on those and looking through those, have their minds on it, so.
Okay. Do you feel like we have to come in here and I mean, this is the council, whatever your wishes are, to come in here and have a special meeting, 39 pages long, and look at all election amendments and codes, or is this something we can do over a draft that our council may submit to this committee here to review and discuss and look at? I'll go with the wishes of the committee here.
I feel like Diane is very capable of doing the legislation for it, but just from experience, I think that our committee, it takes several hours just to go through a couple of the bullet points that we come up with. So it's like when you address one thing, it just leads to another on down through the act. So that's why it takes so long. So I think it's just up to you all as far as plan of action for that.
Speaker,
Okay.
did I say something?
Yes, Secretary.
The request for the special meeting is to give everyone who's not on the committee a chance to voice their opinion. And if y'all want to leave it up to just the loophole work group, then, you know, we're fine with that. We'll continue with that. But, you know, the request is so that everybody can be involved and everybody's opinion is heard.
Councilor Baker.
Yes. I actually would prefer to see the legislation, and then as we look at the legislation, decide whether we need a special rules to go through all of it or not.
Okay. Well, let's just go down the line here. Let's start with Councilor Buzzard.
Yeah, I'd like to see the legislation and then we can.
A draft legislation. Okay, Councilor.
I totally agree with what Jack just said. I think
Okay.
we need to see the legislation first.
Okay, Councilor Garvin.
It's a good point. I'll go along.
Okay,
We'll
I
make
agree
a copy
okay.
today.
Counselor
and hand it
Taylor?
out to all the council
Let us finish here.
I want to be sure I understand. Are what you're proposing is to go ahead and make a draft
Yes.
legislation with the changes
Yes.
before we bring it to this body? Is
Yes,
that
yes.
what we're proposing? Okay.
Yeah, draft legislation that addresses this loophole, and then we'll come back in for discussion. Okay,
No, I would agree with that.
okay.
That would be ahead of the major changes. On
Are you okay if we do it that way?
Yeah, that's
'Cause we're
okay,
kind-
because
Yeah, because I know what you were wanting to do.
my
'cause-
thought is that
Yeah.
when you get to that draft legislation, you're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to go through it anyway.
Okay.
And there's gonna be 17 different opinions.
yes, there is.
I guarantee you.
Yeah,
So
okay.
It's either one way or the other.
Okay.
Half does one,
Counsel?
does the other.
Councilor Walkenstead. Good? Councilor Lay?
I'm okay, but what Councilor Thornton said about the set-aside special meeting,
Mm-hmm.
he's right about the payroll, he's right with everything he said, because when the legislation has to come from the entire body. 3 or 4 people can't draw up a legislation, we'll be throwing rocks at it all day long.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fine to do that, but we should still set aside that special meeting, because I guarantee you, 3, 4 hours later, just like this young lady said, Harley might get mad at me and,
I agree with what you're saying.
throw a rock at me. I don't know.
Yeah. Councilor Baker?
Yes. I think we should have the legislation first. as I
Okay.
said.
Mr. Warner?
I agree with what Councilor Thornton is saying, but I'll look at the legislation.
Okay.
So we can have the legislation,
Yes, we'll get you the
and
current
everybody,
legislation.
everybody can have something to bring to the table,
Mhm.
and we can still have our meeting, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't I suggest this? Why don't we have that draft legislation at our next rules meeting? Everyone take a look at it. If we feel like we have to have a special meeting just for that, we'll do it then. But let us take a look at that draft legislation. Is that okay? Well, Councilor Austin, you have a chance to have your input.
Kind of moot at this point, but I was in the meeting this morning, and Councilor Thornton I certainly respected the fact that he wanted to give all people here the opportunity to have
Sure.
a voice. And that was the reason why he brought it forward, I believe.
Mhm.
So I very much respect that. Thank you. But this will work.
Okay. So is that okay with you, Council? Because if we just bring that draft legislation, let us take a look at it, then if we need to have that special meeting, if we don't get it resolved within a couple hours, we'll just, okay? 'Cause it doesn't sound like these people are excited about having a special rules meeting.
I'm laughing because, well, the thing that I was really wanting to be is all 17 was in
Sure.
on making the legislation.
Yeah,
But if she drafts it, then we're going to be in on it anyway.
that's right.
Because we're
We got the final say.
we're going to have the final say.
Sure.
We're going to talk about it, and it's going to be more than 2 hours, I guarantee you.
We may not. We may just call for the question and say somebody. Councilor Lay.
I don't think it'll happen.
There's all
Yeah,
kinds of
well.
things that come up with this.
Who's drafting the legislation?
I think it'd be a coordination of what the input of the council, the election commission, our counsel here and Attorney General. Is that correct?
Yes.
So,
Well, here, let me talk about that.
make sure that we just separate this from the election commission legislation.
Okay.
Because if you get them both in there, you will be here a long time. So let's just have the loophole next, and then we'll go.
Yes. Yeah, that loophole's the one I want to address, because I keep seeing it on my agenda here for now the past
With
7 or 8
that, I'll
months.
withdraw my motion.
Okay.
No way I can do a full election code.
No, we're not going to do that.
revision just for the next rule.
We're just doing the loophole. Let's get that taken care of first, then we can get off the books, the election commission
We
code.
withdraw the
They're going
request
to
for
pass
Okay.
that
special.
legislation up. They're getting ready.
I would make a recommendation, because I like to know what the election commission and their input is. I like to have one that has both the Counselor Thornton's request and the election commission, and then one that's just the loophole. I like to see both of them.
There's no
Well, yeah,
way.
that's,
Way
no.
before the
We,
next
right now, what's on the agenda right here? Look down in your book there. There's the loophole. That's what we're addressing. What you're requesting is another issue. You can address that some other time, but this is what we gotta get off the books.
I just want to accommodate these ladies right here.
Well, you can accommodate them when you want, but we gotta take care of this agenda.
They must live in your district.
Okay, Counselor Garvin.
You're Rex's district.
A question on the motion.
Okay. All right, is there, everybody agreed to have the draft? Got a motion there, they withdrew.
No, I
They withdrew.
I withdrew the motion.
Okay, so we're good on that. Everybody agree with that? All in favor of getting that draft legislation, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, we're good. Okay, now let's drop down to new business.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair,
Yes,
can I get a copy of these two sheets of paper? I didn't get a copy of them.
okay.
Oh, I thought you.
Here's one right here.
Here, I've got them.
Do you?
Yeah, I can get
Okay. Yeah, let's skip back to number 2. We got one more here. Counselor Thornton, you're up again. Number 2.
I'm going to put that off for another month.
All right, table.
Motion table.
All right, motion table.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Okay. Okay, new business, item number 3. This is something I've talked to the staff about. It's a discussion, possible action, tribal council guidelines for district, community meetings, and mail-out expenses using Cherokee Nation funds. Did everybody get a copy of pros here? Okay, anybody have any comments on that? Yes.
Speaker, I'd like to make a friendly and change the amount down on number 6. Okay. Where the maximum amount for the door prizes is $2,000 per year. And
Okay. Okay, for a friendly amendment there in number 6, discussion, yeah, Counselor Garvin.
Mr. Chairman, I want a friendly amendment to delete that in red, leave it up to the council person to decide about the total amount for door prizes. We've done it ourselves over the years, and it works good. I want to leave it like it is, so I make a motion we delete that in red on number 6.
So you just want to delete that altogether?
Altogether, leave it up to the council person. We've done it for years. I don't know why we want to put a limit on it. Some want to spend more, some less.
Well, we got a motion and a second right now. Discussion?
Do we have an official motion?
Yes.
On
Who
on
made the
this?
motion?
No, I made
No.
a friendly.
No.
Okay, there was a
There's
friendly.
never been a motion made that we accept this.
Okay.
So I make the motion that we accept
Second.
these guidelines.
Except the handout?
Yeah.
Accept the
Who
handout.
made the motion then? And then
Okay.
you second it.
And then, now we can change it and open.
Okay,
discussion.
we got a motion to accept, second? Okay.
You got two friendly.
Now, you're wanting to do a friendly
I made it friendly.
increase on number 6 from 1 to 2, and you're wanting to just delete the whole thing on number 6?
Delete the part in the red.
Okay, yes, Counselor Austin?
Okay, that 1,000 is coming out of the 7,000, is that
Right.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what Counselor Garvin is saying is, if you want to spend the whole 7,000, of course, wouldn't have Meeting Point, there'd be nothing, no community meetings to give the stuff away at. But use your own judgment is what he's saying. But we're
Yes.
saying cap it at that amount.
Yes, and there's a reason for that, because we're trying to get, Mr. Reese, you want to address that a little bit?
I'm the one that originally spoke to the speaker about this because I had seen, not necessarily abuse, but potential
abuse.
Potential abuse. I'd say well over what I would expect as reasonable door prizes for the amount of community meetings that was taking place. So that was the reason why I brought it up, that I thought it was an issue.
Can you give examples?
I
mean, so.
Without really pointing fingers.
Yeah, I mean, no, seriously.
I would say over 50% of the funds was being spent on door prizes, and
Okay.
and what you know, that to me that was not a reasonable amount. If
50%, okay.
I mean, excess of that sometimes. So
We just want to make sure we tighten it up
You
and
know,
not be
I-
out there in a gray area.
I don't want to. I mean, I don't care that whatever limit. I mean that's
Yeah.
your guys' call. But to me, I would rather see a limit on it so we know. I mean, me personally signing off on these purchases, that I feel comfortable that they're going for the proper purposes and stuff.
Okay. Yes, Counselor Engel?
Jody, would that be $1,000 per event, or would that?
The way
be
it is per fiscal
$1,000
year.
For a year?
Right, $1,000 for a year, and like I say, I mean, if you want to change that amount or whatever, but to me, I mean, I feel more comfortable if there's a limit on the door prizes, because like Keith said, you can't buy $7,000 worth of door prizes and not have a community meeting.
Sure. Yeah.
And I have a follow-up.
Go ahead.
None of this is retroactive though, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
I didn't buy a car, so.
That we're going to make sure no one does. Yeah. Counselor Taylor?
I just want to give my input here, and I think that the spirit of this is getting your community together, getting the citizens that you serve together. And if you're not spending anything on food for them or a venue for them or anything, then that negates the whole spirit of the provision for us to have community meetings.
I agree. Okay. Yes, Counselor Critton?
Yeah. And there would be room later on. I mean, if you had one at Fairfield, Bale, Greasy, these places, and you kind of, you're sure enough having community meetings, there'd be room later to say, hey, I need a little bit more. Is that right?
No, it doesn't.
You got a limit right here.
It's a
Right.
settlement.
Yeah.
It's a settlement.
Right.
But it's plenty. I mean, there's a lot right there what I didn't want to do is the staff at the last minute here, and they have before, have to make trips just to try to spend our money for door prizes.
Right,
I mean, I don't think that was the intent of this in the beginning. And I didn't want to put our financial person in that predicament here out in the gray area.
I spent $340 at Bale.
Mhm.
And if I have more than just one or two a year,
You're going to be good.
So.
Okay.
So I think 2,000.
It's good.
Good.
Yeah. Well, you got a motion?
Just one thing.
But were you asking for a friendly
I did a friendly, yeah.
for the 2,000?
Yeah, for the two, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do that motion first.
One more question before we vote on
Okay.
that. Could you spend that in monthly community meetings for giveaways for those organizations to give door prizes and stuff? If you still had money in this pot of money,
Could you spend, is that your question?
yeah.
As far as I know.
And that's one of the things that may need to be clarified here, because that was kind of one of the issues that came up, is whether these door prizes are for your community meetings, or whether you're giving them to a community to give out. That's two different things, and that may be something that needs to be addressed as part of this policy.
I thought the intent was to do it at a community meeting.
Right, but that's one of the things that's been
Hosted by
brought
the
up.
office here.
that I have-
Hosted by this council office.
Right, and that's one of the things that's came out as part of that was I'm buying door prizes and I'm giving them to the community to give out at their meetings, and I don't think that was the intent of this funding.
For our bookkeeping, if we post it as a community meeting here and it's blessed and the mail out goes out, that's official. If I just go to a community meeting, call on my own without going to the office, council office, start giving out door prizes, I'm putting you in a gray area.
Right.
Does that make sense, Councilor?
I think that needs to be addressed, that this is for
Community
actual
meeting.
community meetings that you're calling as a community meeting, not giving door prizes to a community to give out during their meetings. I mean, there's two kinds of community meetings, I guess, but I think
Sure.
that needs to be addressed.
Councilor Baker.
Yes, but at large, we don't normally call hires. We usually go to the chief's meetings, or else the individual community organizations have their own that they've declared, and we go to those. But I would still like to be able to give
Sure.
the prizes to the ones that we just attend.
Okay.
And that's kind of what I'm saying,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well, his is understood. The others were a little,
Right.
yeah. Councilor Garvin.
I still think it should be left up to each individual council person to decide how they want to do their council, their community meetings. I know Councilman Fulbright, she used to have real nice door prizes, and everybody's excited. And that's the only reason they'd go to the meetings, to maybe win a door prize. And I've had some nice ones in mine. I think each individual should be able to decide. I don't think I don't think he's suspicioning anybody of doing anything illegal. I don't know what the deal is, but I guess maybe they got a lot of work there at the last minute. But I'd like to see us leave it, let each individual make their own decision. They got to face the voters. And why should anybody tell us how to spend our own money? That's kind of like the federal government does. They're going to tell you how to spend your money. We got $7,000. We can spend it on steak, or we can have hamburgers, or how you want to spend it.
Councilor Austin.
Because it's not our money. It's our money.
Right, belongs to the district.
Councilor Lynch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I don't think I'm one of those who went over, but let me say this, I'm here, Mr. Garvin, and I kind of agree with him because my district is fairly large compared to some of the other districts where the count is packed, dense packed. And so I do community meetings, and I'm sitting here counting them 4 different places, at least 2 times a year. And trust me, if you don't give them some door prizes, Jody, you know, I'm in trouble. I don't care if it's a boomerang that you get from Walmart, I don't care what it is. They expect it, it's part of the community meeting, it's part of the fun of going to a community meeting. I'm not like Cherokee County, I can't get 3 people together and have one big meeting twice a year. I've got to spread them out. And so, I don't know if you're the mail-out fun cop, I don't know where we're headed here. But our people elected us. They trust us. And my opinion is you should too. Now, if somebody's spending, I can't get over that something you would say that anybody on this body is doing something wrong. It just kind of hits me wrong. I think we ought to just delete this whole thing and forget about it.
Amen.
Councilor Thornton.
I'm inclined to go with Don, and I think we need to delete this whole thing. I've sat here for 16 years, and I've set a precedent at my community meetings. And I may get 600 or 700 people at them. Don's been to them, he knows. And the ones that I get, the people that are up here in society, they'll come. They really don't care about the door prizes.
I
But
agree.
this old boy sitting over there in Nycud, Oklahoma, he'll come to try to get a door prize. I guarantee you that. And, you know, they'll want to give him a hat, or they'll want to give him a blanket. You know, he's got a choice, but he comes to that meeting for that door prize, and that's a low-income people. And if you come to my meetings, you'll see a lot of the lower-income Cherokees at my meetings, and have been in the past. And so, I've got to agree with Don, you know, if you don't trust me, then mark me, investigate me. I just got through being investigated here about 3 months ago, so get after me. That's the way I feel about it. Thank you.
All right, Counselor Baker.
Yes. Well, I think item 7 that was added,
Yes.
that the amount can be carried over to the next fiscal year, community assistance, will eliminate the needing to spend the money at the end of the fiscal year.
Yes, that's why we put it in there.
Right.
Yeah.
So with that provision, I mean, I'm not opposed to the provision for limiting it to 2,000. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
But even without it, I think item 7 would take care of having to spend the money at the end of the
Yes,
year.
I mean, that's what, you know, there's some thought that went into this. It wasn't just, you know, arbitrarily put in there. So, anyway, has everybody had their say? We got a motion and a second. Mr. Counselor Baker made the motion. Did you second that, Frankie?
What are the friendly amendments?
Okay, we're gonna go over those once we find. Okay,
I did, but Don made the motion to delete that, so.
yeah, but we had a motion first. You addressed the first motion first, and if you made the second, is that correct?
Right, and she said it, and
Yeah.
then she asked for the friendly.
Yes.
And I accepted that.
Yeah, so we've got a motion and second, then he came back with the second. So we addressed the first motion and second, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But the question then is whether he's going to make, or made a motion to delete that, which would have to be a separate motion.
Yeah.
Before we vote on the
Okay.
initial.
All right, so Counselor Garvin wants to just keep it as it is.
Did he get a second?
Okay, he got a motion, got a second by Counselor Lay. Just to keep things as it is, all in favor signify by saying aye.
We're just talking
Another
about
question,
question
right.
6, correct? Not the entire
The
act.
whole thing.
The whole thing. Don said the whole thing.
No, it'd just be question
No.
Just question.
Just six. Don wants to keep it just like it is.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear on what I was voting.
Yeah,
Just question 6, right?
Yeah.
yes.
Whatever question.
Is that correct?
6 only, and like, that's all it's meant. Just take out the red on number 6.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. All right. Are you clear now, Counselor Critton?
Yes.
No, I was wanting to say something if I could.
Go ahead.
I have the utmost respect for that dude and everybody who's been talking about this. I really do. Just sitting here, I really got presented with it. Not a whole lot of time. But boy, he knows what I think of him. But sitting here, me, in District 8, I don't think all of us have the same amount of community meetings, do we?
Probably not.
But sitting here just doing my little elementary math here, I'm thinking, I've already spent 340. And if I plan on having more than one a year at that place, but I don't, for me, boy, you don't take offense to that, do you? That's my buddy. We talk about hunting and everything. But I'm just going to say, I don't think that's going to be enough for me just after hearing what everybody's been discussing.
Okay. Okay, anybody else? Let's clarify the motion here. Counselor Garvin has a second by Counselor Lay to leave item number 6 as it is.
Delete 6.
To delete the red.
Just-
Take the red out.
Just the red part from 6. Don't put a,
The amount?
yeah. don't put
Okay. All right. All in favor to delete the red in item number 6, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. All opposed? All right. There you go. Now, back for this original. We had a motion by Counselor Baker, second by Counselor Hargis here. Discussion.
Call for the question.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Ayes have it. You're good. All right, any announcements? 5 to 3. We're doing good.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, second, all in favor? All right, did good.
I'll let you have it.
Yeah, you know, make it different.